Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Relearn Japanese, and you are here because you forgot your Japanese and you're trying to learn it again because you're trying to get a job in Japan because you got to get that N2. And if you don't have an N2 in Japan, you mean nothing, no matter how much you know how to speak, even though the N2 doesn't teach you how to speak. But anyway, let's get in there. So, just as a quick disclaimer, this course is meant for those with experience. It is meant for as a crash course for those with experience. So if this is your first time ever learning Japanese, okay, thank you for becoming a Haru. All right, perfect. As I was saying, you may find this difficult if you're a beginner at the pace we move at. Does assume you know some of the stuff that you should know. So we're not going to be going over every little single thing. As I was saying, this is a course that may be a little fast for you if you're just starting. So try and keep up. If you can't, then you can always pause the video and come back. This is meant for people that have some sort of experience when it comes to Japanese and knowing the basic concept of it. This is more like a review crash course. So anyway, with that being said, let's get in there. So today we're going to be going over adjectives, which is also known as keiyoshi. Keiyoshi. So if you ever worked in junior high school as an ALT in Japan, oh man, you're going to be seeing a lot of this when you're teaching those first graders. Oh, we're going to learn adjectives today. Oh geez, oh my god, it's so hard to say. It is very beautiful. I am fun when I am. Okay, anyway. So there are two types of adjectives, the na type and the a type. So we have the na and the e type des. Okay, so two types. So the na type is used for connecting nouns together and for those adjectives that not end in a most of the time. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but anyway, so it is, it's called a nounal adjective. Look at adjectival noun. Adjectival noun. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, there's actually these two concepts. You have an e adjective and you have a na adjective. And one is actually acts as a noun and one is actually just an adjective. And if you actually look at the Japanese language as a whole, it is so beautiful and amazing that there are two separate systems that they have actually devised together. And anyway, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Anyway, so the first example we have with na is henna hito. Henna hito. So this is like, what a strange person. What a strange person. He's so weird. So as you can see here, we have an adjectival noun, which is hen, which means strange, okay? And we have hito, which is person. So this na is actually connecting the two nouns, the adjectival noun and the noun together using the na. The na function, the na, I'm going to call it the na chain linker. And it chain links these two together so that they can form a modified noun. So you could be like henna hito, a strange person. Suki na hito, somebody that I like, right? So you'll hear suki na hito a lot because ski is actually a adjectival noun, which we'll get into in a moment. But henna hito puts these together, okay? So usually if you want to use the adjective in a different fashion, you have to use it in the na anyway. So it's kind of an indicator that you're connecting one noun to a concept or something. So you don't always have to say hen not something. You could use it as you could use it with no to just modify an entire situation, or you could use it with a grammar point called yo, which modifies an entire concept. So if you look at this, so let's go back so we can say like hen na no. So you can't say hen no. You can't say hen no, right? In order, okay, so let's say this no here is your Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's say this no here that you have is this feeling that you feel a sense of being taken aback. Let's say this no is an indicator of that. And this hen is connecting, that strangeness is connecting your emotions with the na chain linker. So you have na, so no, which is my entire feeling of being taken aback, and you have hen, which is strange. So I think this situation you described is strange. So hen na no ore no kimochi. Hen na no ore no kono situation ga yabai kimochi. So my entire feeling is being connected to this strange concept. So if you want to say if you want to shorten something or use an adjectival noun or a na type adjective in any situation that's not just a basic sentence, most of the time, maybe 95% of the time, you're going to have to be using na to connect that, okay? So know that the na is almost a package deal unless you're replacing it with da or something like hendayo or something like that. But if you want to be casual and you don't want to use da, you could either A, omit it, hen. But that's it's kind of, it sounds weird, but you're gonna be like hen nano or hen. Yeah, okay. You gotta have that. You have to have that now. Okay, next. All right, so we have an example sentence here of how you can use the na chain linker to connect an adjectival noun to an entire concept, and rather than just one single word. So instead of just saying that person is strange, or those people have a strange love, like hen na koi or hen na ai, like it's strange love, you can literally make in Japanese an entire relative clause, an entire sentence, add the word yo, and then na to connect the chain link to something, and then it's a ting, because na is just really just a chain linker of two nouns together, right? So if you take a look at this, so we have Haru saying その二人ドキドキするような愛があるよね. And like, hey, hen na no. So we have again Haruka is going like, yeah, that's a strange situation, which is connected to my feelings. So this no and this chain link is hen is connected to me being like, hey, these two nouns, these two concepts. And then we have this concept of doki doki suru yo na ai ga aru yo ne. So instead of saying just strange love, we have this, those two are really having a doki doki heart-throbbing thing going on, yeah? And they're like, yeah, that's kind of strange. So this entire red text here has become a noun by using yo. Because if you know the kanji for yo, and you'll never learn it this way, the kanji for yo is form. It's sugata. It's an actual form of something. So the form of doki doki, something that is doki doki, the form of this noun is now a noun because I use the na adjective. This entire noun is connected to another noun now. So I love, and doki doki suru yo is connected by the chain linker na, right? So it's connecting two nouns together. Ha ha ha. Okay, so it's pretty cool. And you'll see this a lot in like longer passages. Longer passages. As Japanese, they really like to go on long tangents and flow and really just long passages of text. And it's really just the way the grammar is built. And the way that their thinking is, as well, as it's more of a payoff rather than learning the thing right away, which you can kind of see in their culture as well. You can see that in Western society, where we have, in our very language, that we say the things we want to say at the beginning, which reflects in the way that we express ourselves. But in Japanese, they say what they want to say at the end with the verb, which kind of reflects in their culture that they don't really get to what they want to say until you listen all the way to the end, which makes them more prone to listening to what you have to say rather than cutting you off like in Western culture. It really is an interesting concept when you think about Japanese in the Japanese way. I'm loving this Neil deGrasse Tyson thing. But anyway, so we have, those two have a really doki doki heart-throbbing thing going on, don't they? And like, yeah, that's kind of strange. So we connected this entire concept as a noun to another noun. Okay, so we have the special exception, which is I like apples. So Ringo, oh yeah, I like Ringo Starr. Oh yeah, not Ringo Starr. I don't know why they call it Ringo. It's probably like Portuguese or something, or the Dutch came in. It's like, oh, this is a Ringo. And they're like, oh, okay, all right, I'll call it Ringo then. That's probably what happened. I don't know. But anyway, so you may be thinking, well, I like apples. I like apples. That's a verb. That is a state of being. Why would you use it as an adjective? And you may be thinking, hey, you know what? You're wrong. So look at this. I like apples. Ringo ga suki desu. Well, look, we do have a verb in here. Look, des. That is the state of being. I am in the state of being of finding apples desirable. I'm in the state of being of finding apples desirable. Opposite said, if you said Ringo ga suki janai, I am not in the state of being of finding apples desirable. And that is a better way to think about suki, rather than to think about it like I like apples. Much better. And it just clears your mind, right? So, for example, we have the two example sentences. Ringo ga suki desu. I like apples. Or, Ringo ga suki desu te yutta jan, oi! So you can say that too, and that also means I find apples. Yeah, okay. So here we go. Now we have the next one. So I hate apples. So the same thing. Another exception is Ringo ga daikirai. Ringo ga daikirai nanda. Kuso. You could actually, most people don't say kirai because kirai is kind of strong. So half the time they'll be saying ski janai, like I just don't like it. So ski janai. They don't say daikira unless it's like like a kid might say daikirai because they want to express themselves before it's too late. Anyway, social commentary in the lesson. What? Okay, so here we go. So we have e adjectives, and the e adjectives are much simpler. So they just have an e at the end, and you're good to go. Basically, yeah, that's the story. So for example, we have oishii, which is delicious. Umai, delicious. Yabai, wow. Yabai, no way. Yabai, this is bad. Yabai, this is amazing. Right? So you can see the pattern here, just the E. And you'll see that this I sound actually is a key indicator of what you can determine is actually an E adjective or an adjectival noun. And you're going to see this here as Neil deGrasse Tyson. So look at this. We're going to go off on a little tangent here, which is really interesting. And you're going to see how this E actually works as a function. So we have the verb taberu, which means to eat. So let's say you want to say, I want to eat something. I am in the state of being, remember, ski this. I am in the state of being that I want to eat something, right? So now think about it. If you're actually modifying yourself as a person, you are modifying yourself by using tabetai and describing yourself as a person that wants to eat. A hungry person. Not just person, a hungry person. Somebody who wants to eat. Okay, so we have tabetai. So we have essentially put an adjective on ourselves. So look at this. Tabetai, which is technically a verb, right? It's a verb, right? But look at it. Look at the rule. Yeah, now look, it's become an E adjective. It's become an adjective that describes you in the state of being. I am in the state of being hungry. I'm in the state of being of finding apples delicious. It's the same kind of thinking. Look, tabetakunai. That's how you say I don't want to eat. Now I'm in the state of being that I don't want to eat. Because if you wanted to complete this in the long sentence, you say tabetai desu. Tabetai desu. Tabetai desu. That's ikitai desu. That's the formal version, the entire version. So you are blatantly saying it. I am in the state of being that I want to go. I am in the state of being that I want to eat. Yaritai desu. I am in the state of being that I want to do something. So this E adjective actually serves a bigger function rather than just using it for adjectives, but you'll see it a lot in different grammar forms as something that describes a state of being. Really, really cool stuff, guys. Really, really cool stuff. And this is how you got to think about Japanese, man. There's patterns. There's patterns everywhere. So how do you tell the difference between a non and E-type adjective? Look at the kanji. There's a reason why these people made these kanji back in like 2,000, 10,000 years ago. They chose kanji for a reason, and they were sacred scripts. Women couldn't even write kanji. They weren't allowed to back in the old days, so they invented hiragana. So let's take a look at this. So we have the verb oishi. The adjective oishi, right? Written in hiragana, which is how you always see it. Then you have kirei, which is also written in hiragana usually. By looking at these two at the same time, which one do you think is an E adjective? Obviously, because you've been taught at school that kirei is not an E adjective. And you're like, oh, do I just got to remember that? I just got to remember that, Johnny? What am I supposed to do? And you're like, look at the kanji, you lazy bum. Look. Okay, so we have oishi, which means beautiful flavor. Utsukushi aji. Okay, oishi. Beautiful flavor, therefore it is delicious, therefore I'm better than you. So, oishi, okay, look, we have the sacred kanji that can't be touched. Okay, it can't be touched. Don't touch this. No one's trying to modify that and create a different kanji for a negative. So they wrote the hiragana. But the hiragana can easily be manipulated. So they're like, okay, no, let's bend this hiragana because we're not going to touch the sacred kanji. So, but these indicators here that this hiragana is actually here, we know that this is an E adjective because we can see the E. Remember from tabetai? Tabetai! From there, like it's the same function. That function, the conjugator function is there. You look at kirei, there's nothing. At this point, right now, attached to no other noun, this is a noun. This is a straight up noun. Okay? This is a noun. This is not an adjective. That's why we call it adjectival noun. There's nothing to discuss here, right? So how do we turn a noun into an adjective, and how do we turn a noun into a negative, right? So look, kirei is basically a noun at this point. So how do you change a noun to a negative? You write janai. Remember? 好きじゃない。好きです。綺麗です。綺麗じゃない。You don't say 綺麗くない. There's no E. Look, there's no E modifier. There's no E modifier like it is in this one, right? There's no E modifier. It is just a noun. So that's how we can tell the difference. By looking at the kanji and understanding that there's no hiragana attached to it. So that means it is a noun in itself. It is an old thing. Then you don't touch it. And you treat it as such. It's really amazing. Learn kanji. With my new course, Kanji Buff, the supplementary course for Relearn Japanese, which is completely optional. So I don't really go over kanji in this course, but if you want to go over kanji and get a little kanji buff, subscribe to the Patreon, $5 a month, and you get a kanji course every week with a worksheet and a fun little lesson for 6 kanji per week with mnemonics and everything and meanings and all that stuff. So make sure you check it out. And yeah, plug. So we have one last exception here, so you should know that there's a verb called ii desu ne. So there's one last exception here, which is ii desu ne. So the easy way to get around this, to be honest, is not that hard. It's just to read it in the old classical way, which is yoi. So it has a kanji. It's yoi desu ne. So people are like, oh, I don't know how to conjugate this thing, bro. Look, we just discussed it. So we have that e thing, right? The e conjugator function thing, and that's it. Yoi, yokunai. Look, there's a kanji, and it has the e because the kanji is sacred. So you add the e, and you can only conjugate the e. That's it. It's so simple. It's I don't even know why people say it's that hard. Just know that in the old days, it was said as yoi. Kore wa yoi. That's it, man. That's it. Like, e is just, mans are lazy. Japanese mans are lazy when it comes to like language, man. That's where they cut. They don't want to say supermarket. This one says super. Like, come on. So if you just read it as yoi and you remember and you know why, then it's easy. Okay, we just use the same function that we just had before. Even look at this. Okay, so we have, you have the kimochi. So it's actually quite easy to break this down. So it's like kimochi ga ii. So the feeling is good. Kimochi warui. Kimochi ga warui. But it's actually, you'd actually never say this, but it's just an easy way for you to separate it, okay? Just separate in your mind. So this means feels good, feels bad. Kimochi warui. I don't feel good, right? So it's pretty easy. And you could just conjugate them normally. It's like kimochi ga ii, kimochi ga yokunai, kimochi ga warukunai. And that's it. So you're using the same principles that you had. You just imagine you had the yoi kanji there. Same principles. You're only modifying this last e because it's the only thing you can, because you can't touch the kanji. Okay? And of course, you could always shorten it down to kimoi, which is the easiest thing. But anyway, guys, that is all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you enjoyed this new format. It's a lot easier for me to convey my ideas and get away from the BS. I hope you enjoyed the fun. I hope you had fun learning it. And hope you consider signing up for Kanji Buff, some supplementary stuff for you to do. I make worksheets on there as well. And I am going to be developing a intermediate course that's going to be a lot more in-depth with a lot more content and stuff like that for the Patreon. As I don't know, maybe I'll put some snippets up on here too, but we're going to be continuing relearn Japanese anyway. So yeah, thanks for coming out. No homework today. Just go review. Go read Take Kim's book from page 37 to 41. And that's it. No practice, no kanji quiz, anything. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll just throw in a pop quiz. Who knows? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Nihongo Josu desu ne. Yeah.